before we can make the outer truly happen in a lasting way, not just like, quick fix manifestations, but truly long-standing, rooted manifestations, we have to have the inner capacity to hold that, to hold what is happening out there or what we want to happen out there in the external world, in our relationships, in our job, or whatever area you're focusing on in your life right now. Good morning, my loves. Welcome back. It is Sunday, and the routine we have on Sundays, we are talking about the week ahead. We're still very much experiencing whatever came up for us in the past 2 to 3 weeks. And we're digesting, and we are releasing, we're also integrating. It's a week where we are still trying to find harmony, and sometimes harmony is found through contrast. And there is quite a bit of contrast in this week, but like I said, there's also a lot of harmony. And we are starting the week with a lot of harmony. Basically, we are continuing from last week, right? From Saturday and today, Sunday, Mars trine Venus. We are taking this into the week. They are obviously not in an exact trine anymore on Monday and Tuesday, but they are still close enough to be aligned, to feel aligned, to hear each other, to see each other, even without using those two, right? There is this understanding between the masculine and the feminine, and we can still utilize this energy in an easier way. I mean, we can always utilize this energy because it's an energy within us, right? We have all energies within us. But when it is represented to us, reflected back to us through universal forces, we have an easier access, right? We can learn from that. We can understand the energies within us much better. Now, on Tuesday, we have Mercury being the big player. Mercury is opposing Chiron. And I think what this could bring up in our lives is conversations about past hurts, about inner child wounding. Beautiful time to have a conversation with a professional because they can reflect back to us, right? They help us understand ourselves better, understand our wounding better, and also understand how we are able to heal it, because we are able to heal it internally. Doesn't mean we can change what happened in the past. What happened in the past happened in the past. What happened in our childhood happened there. But in the now, we can alchemize that energy, that understanding, that learning, the lessons, and can integrate it in a way that helps us move forward in a healthier way. Also, on Tuesday, we have Mercury. Like I said, Mercury's a big player, trine Jupiter. Now, Jupiter is about to retrograde. So Mercury is going to be one of the last planets that is touching Jupiter. And I say one of them because we are getting to the other tomorrow. Now, Mercury trine Jupiter. Big conversations. We are continuing the theme, right? Big conversations possibly about the healing process that you are undergoing, that you are in. The healing, the emotional healing, the physical healing, the mental healing, consciously and unconsciously. And there might be big conversations. And again, I think this is a beautiful time to even start talking to a professional, to a therapist, a psychologist, getting help from a counselor, walking by your side, helping you reflect back what you might not see, helping you see a different perspective. Then on the 9th, Jupiter is stationing retrograde. And during the retrograde stationing phase, Jupiter is sextiling Chiron. You can see there is a beautiful synergy this week, right? Chiron with Mercury, then Mercury with Jupiter, now Jupiter with Chiron, and the theme is the same. I think this Jupiter retrograde is going to be focusing on inner child healing for all of us. And you know, this can happen in different areas. It can show up in different areas. It can show up in your family, quite literally, right? Like you dealing with your family, your parents, your mother, your father. This can also show up in other areas, in your 9th house area, for example, where, you know, you're dealing with themes of expansion, you know, and maybe you are not able to expand because your mindset, right, your belief system is stuck in the past because of what you went through. So I have a separate video for Jupiter stationing retrograde for all rising signs, and I also have a blog post about it. I will link the blog post below, and then you can also watch the video that I think I posted it on Thursday. So it's the last video that is on my channel. So you can watch this as well. But yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of inner realignment. Jupiter retrograde in general is all about inner expansion, right? Expanding internally your understanding of life, your belief system, what is possible for you, so you can then go out and actually make it happen. The inner reflecting the outer and vice versa, right? There is this synergy. But before we can make the outer truly happen in a lasting way, not just like, you know, quick fix manifestations, but truly long-standing, rooted manifestations, we have to have the inner capacity to hold that, to hold what is happening out there or what we want to happen out there in the external world, in our relationships, in our job, or, you know, whatever area you're focusing on in your life right now. So yeah, the key word is internal expansion. Then on the 10th, we have the sun squaring the moon, and I wanted to talk about this. I know I usually don't talk about the sun moon aspects in the weeklies, but this one, I don't know, again stood out to me. We have the moon in Capricorn, we have the sun in Libra, all cardinal signs, so very strong, you know, they come in really strong. They are the structures of our lives. And for me, this screams boundaries in relationships. This is an aspect that screams boundaries in relationships. And again, there is a lot of conscious and unconscious on the plate, right? Like there is the sun that is very conscious, consciously I want this, consciously I see this, consciously this is happening. And then there's the moon, you know, what's happening in the dark, what is happening in the unconscious, you know, how are we reacting to things that are presented to us? How are we responding? What are our boundaries like? Do we have boundaries in place where they need to be in place? Something to think about. Then also between the 10th and the 13th, we have a lot of quincunxes happening, like a lot. I mean, that stood out to me. I looked at the chart and I'm like, hey, what's going on here? The thing with quincunxes is that they are the things in life that we just have to accept. And the question is, how are we going to accept it? We can accept it in an annoyed way. We can accept it in a screamy kind of way. Well, that would be obviously not accepting it. And then we can accept it rooted in our feminine energy, accepting the isness of life. Accepting that this person is not interested in you. Accepting that you did not get this job. Accepting that your mother might never change. The acceptance. And not just like the mental concept of accepting. The embodiment of accepting. That is what a quincunx wants to teach us. And they are little annoying, you know, things, these quincunxes, because We are dealing with two energies that have nothing in common. They have nothing in common. And still, they are existing in our surrounding. So learning to accept the other for who they are, with all the things that they come with, and still being able to be rooted within us. You know, not getting that job. Could there be a better one on the way? That girl, that guy, not interested. Well, could there be a better one on the way? You know, reframing your understanding of what is will help you live a much easier life. The path of least resistance. Then on the 13th, we have Mercury squaring Pluto. And this is the last time these two are squaring in this constellation, because as you know, Pluto is going to move back into Aquarius, and then we will not see Pluto again in Capricorn in our lifetime. Now, what could this mean, this particular square? Well, we have Mercury in Libra, Pluto in Capricorn. Like before, with the moon and the sun, we are dealing with a Capricorn. We are dealing with two cardinal signs, very strong signs, the structures in our lives, quite literally, you know, Capricorn, the structures of our lives. And then Libra, finding the balance between us, who we are, and the other. And what structures need to be in place, what boundaries need to be in place between us, having conversations about this. And maybe these conversations are not going to be very easy, right? There might be a lot of emotion involved. There might be a lot of like, you know, we might have different ideas of how those boundaries should look like. And I guess for many of us, these conversations will probably not be the most gentle, because with Capricorn and Pluto and Capricorn in the mix, there is harshness, and there's also the understanding of, well, we need to remove certain boundaries and then put new ones in place, and maybe one or the other is not on board with the new ones or removing the old ones, right? We've got to understand that here we have to walk towards each other a little bit. Something's got to give on both ends of the spectrum, and we're dealing with Pluto. Pluto is not really in the game for giving. Pluto is just like we're taking things away. We're just mowing it all down, and we are rebuilding. So this could also be a conversation about rebuilding a relationship from the grounds up. Maybe you had to mow it all down. Then last thing I want to say, before I get to the little forecast for next week, the moon is also trining Mercury. And I mentioned this because Mercury is a big player this week, as you probably noticed. The moon is trining Mercury at the same time when Mercury is squaring Pluto. So the unconscious comes in here a little bit. Also the bit of the feminine principle. So the softness. So I think this can help us ease those conversations a little bit. Stepping into that part of you that is very understanding. But also stepping in that part of you that knows that you don't know everything. The part of you that knows that there needs to be, that inner work needs to be done within you. Obviously also within the other, but understanding where you are coming from and understanding where the other is coming from. So then next week, or we are starting the next week quite intensely. And that's why, and we will obviously talk about this in the next video, but I thought I'd give you a little teaser here. Next Monday, we have Venus opposing Uranus, the Sun squaring Mars, and the Sun trining Jupiter. So there's heavy energy. And I think this could still be all the stuff that we've been dealing with this week, right? Like the conversations about your internal state, the conversations about state of your relationship, You know, with Venus opposing Uranus, there could be unexpected developments in a relationship, but then also with Mars squaring the Sun, there's a lot of ego in play here as well, right? The ego wants to tell us how it is. And then with the Sun trining Jupiter, seeing the bigger picture. What's the bigger picture here? What's the bigger picture in our life? What's the bigger vision for our life? What's the bigger picture when it comes to this relationship? You know, where do we have to look at it from the bird's eye view instead of just focusing in on the stuff we don't like? Oh no, that's not good, and that's not good, right? Where do we have to just take a step back and take a look at the whole picture? What do we see? Now, we will talk about all of this next week. Until then, I wish you a beautiful week, and I will talk to you in the next video.